May the 4th be with you. It is May 4th. Welcome to the podcast. Brand new episode 608. I had to explain or try to explain to my kids what an Ewok was the other day. What is an Ewok? And I basically said it's like a little baby bear with a gun. A baby bear with a gun. I mean, that's kind of perfect, right? I love it. I didn't tell them that. I actually just came up with that just now. But hey, that's why you're listening to the podcast, right? For those gems. Baby bear with a gun. I better write that down. Baby bear with a gun. With a blaster. But Star Wars fans out there, what do you guys think about what has become of the Star Wars franchise? I think we all know as things get bigger, they don't always get better. They can get better, but they don't always get better. You got to really choose. You got to really strive. You got to try to keep things better when you grow beyond capacity. And I feel like Star Wars, it wasn't that it grew beyond capacity. It got sold to Disney. And then they just started putting out all this Star Wars stuff, which some of it probably is good and probably not so much. So let's just go back and start with the first 3 movies, which is 4, 5, and 6 in the series. Those are the movies I grew up on: Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Now, hands down, that is the trilogy. I will die on that hill. So if anybody else thinks there's better movies than those 3, call in. The number's 360-830-6660. I want to hear what you think. But though, when it went to the prequels, 1, 2, and 3, with what's his name? The guy Jawa. He wasn't a Jawa. He was the Jamaican guy. I didn't even think of this guy, but he wants a cracker. I don't even know what the heck the guy says. I can't remember the names of anybody right now. I'm blanking on all of it. Let me literally pull up like Star Wars characters. Let me see what happens here. My internet is going slow because I'm on the wrong network. Star Wars characters. Boom. Let's go. Who's your favorite Star Wars character? Because mine, I always liked Han Solo. Han Solo was hands down the coolest, right? Luke Skywalker, I always liked him too. He's a hero. He's the unsung hero of the whole thing, really. Chewbacca, can't go wrong with Chewbacca. Let's see. Obviously R2-D2, right? Like, there's no one like R2-D2. Okay, that is okay. Let's go a little deeper. Prequels. Boom. List of prequels. Anakin Skywalker. There's of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi is in it as a young Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson, plays the Jedi Master. Of course, Jar Jar Binks. All right, that's who I was trying to think of. Jar Jar Binks with the floppy ears. He looks like an elephant person. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, Jar Jar Binks isn't so bad now, but at the time it was annoying that such a weird, silly character was just like slopping up the landscape, getting screen time. But it's all about, appealing to that younger audience, that new generation. So I get it. I have not watched The Phantom Menace again, any of that. I haven't watched any of those movies in a long time. But 4, 5, and 6, those movies are forever imprinted into my mind. Like, I know what happens in those movies. I know how each movie pretty much ends. And, I'm not saying those movies were perfect. By no means were they perfect, but there was a good charm. There was a charm to it. It's like when we listen to punk albums, and they don't sound perfect, but there's something to it. You know, it sounds more live. It sounds more, there's more energy, right? Sometimes you sacrifice that perfect sound for the energy, and I'm all for that. I love that, and I think that's partly why things are so, they're so near and dear to us when we get time with something, whether it's a movie, an album. You want to hear the way that those albums were played, and there are times where I like change up some of the melodies for classic MxPx songs, and I try not to do it too much. It just happens sometimes naturally where it feels better to sing this, or I even forgot that I sang it like this, and it's a very subtle thing. Like I get that, you know, because I get when I listen to something and then I hear a band sing it different. Sometimes it's actually kind of better, but I think it's important to only do it sometimes, not do it for every single song. But I've talked about this before. I went and saw Bob Dylan, and I was up in the nosebleeds at the KeyArena before it was Climate Pledge, and watching this guy. There's no camera, there's no screens. It's just, I can barely see you. And you know he couldn't see me, but he's playing his piano, and I couldn't tell what the song was until like 3/4 of the way through it, because it hit the chorus again, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to catch some lyrics. I'm starting to catch a little bit of melody, but it's so different from the way they were recorded that it's almost unenjoyable. Now that being said, hey, if that's what he wants to do, by all means, do it. As an artist, you are absolutely, I think, entitled. I don't know if entitled is the right word, but you're entitled to do what you want to do. You know, whether or not the crowd likes it, that's another thing, right? You know, I try to do things that are interesting and that aren't the same thing over and over and over again, but also things that I feel like are going to connect with the audience. So that's important to me. Now, with the Star Wars franchise, that's a different story, right? I just didn't connect with all of the new characters. There are some that I probably would or have connected with, but I've spent most of my Star Wars time just watching when I was a kid. I think the first Star Wars movie I saw in theater was Empire Strikes Back. I was 2 years old, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that movie. It could have been the first one, but it was one of those two. And then by the time by the time Jedi came out, I was old enough to remember the movies. When we went to go see movies, I went and saw Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which is third in the trilogy. I saw that in California, I think it was in California with my parents and my relatives, aunt and uncles. We went, and my cousins, and we went and saw this, and there was like the full red carpet. I saw Jedi, I think that was in Bremerton at Redwood Theater, which is still technically a theater, but it's so different now. Like that, it was a classic theater back then, and same deal, red velvet ropes going into the theater, and it was the full experience. It was awesome. So I'm a fan of those main three that came out in the 70s into the 80s. I'm all for it. But hey, I'm kind of, I was intrigued when they came out with the prequels. I was like, okay, maybe this will be good. And it wasn't, because they just didn't hire like super cutting edge people to do the films. It was it felt like it was too big of a story to tackle. And it's almost like there was a right way to do it, in my opinion, and they didn't do it. But they focused on the love story. They focused on a lot of things that didn't need to be focused on. That could have been just a side thing, and it was a side thing, I guess. But there was a lot of screen time with the love story, how they felt, and then how he turns to the dark side. I mean, I get all that, but it was boring to me. Just going to put it out there. All right, so happy May the 4th be with you, day and week, and happy May. We're in a new month, end of the month, let's see, Goldfinger is going to be in the UK at Slam Dunk Festival. Be there for 2 shows. That'll be awesome. And then I am going to be doing a solo show in Bremerton, Washington, downtown Bremerton, for the World Cup Fan Zone. It's kicking off June 12th. That's a Friday. I think I play at 5 p.m. I hit the stage, outdoor stage, right there on I think 4th Street. And I'm going to play a full set as far as I know. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to have ourselves a party. And then when I'm done, the game will come up on the big screen, I assume. So something like that. It's going to be awesome. Pretty sure it's free. I don't know. I don't think you have to have a pass to get in there. It's downtown Bremerton, so usually there's no pass situation. And then, yeah, that weekend, MxPx will be in Washington, D.C. at Warped Tour, June 14th. Going to be awesome. And then, hey, you know, we're doing all the other Warped Tours. Go check out MxPx.com for dates, tickets, links. End of summer, we are doing a Pacific Northwest show. And we're announcing this very soon. I keep talking about it. We haven't announced it yet. But we are planning something for the end of August. That's right. You can probably guess when. End of August. But and then right after that, September 5th, we are going to be in Italy. It's going to be a long flight. We'll see you at Punkadeka Festival, Milan, Italy. MxPx headlining, going to be awesome. We'll see you there. And then more Warped Tour after that. Of course, Goldfinger has some shows. Go check out Goldfinger, whatever their website is, goldfingermusic.com, something like that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in. If you want to call in and leave a voicemail about anything, I love what you guys have been talking about lately, and appreciate how honest everybody is and how cool everybody's been. So thank you so much for listening. Thanks for your support. If you haven't already done so, share this podcast, maybe a favorite episode with a friend that you know listens to podcasts. It's my podcast, so sometimes I feel like it's not good, and other times I feel like it is good. So I don't know what it is, but I appreciate you listening, and we're going to keep it rolling. MxPx.com, and the number, 360-830-6660. If you're outside the country, dial up +1 ahead of all of that. Leave me a voicemail. We'll get to it. All right. Let's get to your voicemails, right? Should we? I think we should. May the 4th be with you. Here we go.
Hey, Mike. This is Jonah, longtime listener of MxPx. I moved out to Orange County a couple years ago, and now every time that I go to get on I-5, inevitably if it's Southbound, I'm singing Southbound out loud with my family in the car. They have no idea what the song is because it's from so long ago. They weren't MxPx listeners. My wife wasn't. So shout out to that song and all the songs that you've created over the years. And I'm just curious, how do you guys pick a set list from such a large catalog of songs you guys have created over the years? Love you guys. Appreciate the music, and look forward to hopefully seeing you guys on the road soon. Peace.
Oh, thanks for the call, Jonah. Great question. How do we pick our set lists? You know, it's good to kind of break it up. We always, more than a lot of bands, we play a lot of new stuff. So if we've just put out a single, you probably should listen to it before you come to the show, because we're probably going to do it live. We did that with Set of Fire. We did that with 100 recently. We've done it for the new albums we've had, Find a Way Home, self-titled. And we've just gotten in a habit of doing that the last decade, the last 10 years or so. But we try to pick based on flow, based on emotion, based on how it makes you feel at what time. Get people amped up, get people ready, give people what they're expecting, and then bring it down. Give people an emotional moment, ramp it back up, give people some nostalgia. Being a band, as long as we've been a band, you can't help but give people nostalgia. You hit these certain songs, like when we play a song like For Always, that's all nostalgia. All you think about is your life and your friends and your family and all the things you've been through, and the hard times and the good times and the people that have helped you through it. I think another song like that is Stay Up All Night from the newest album. Stay Up All Night is a song that people really, even though it's a newer song, they're thinking about important things in their life, and it's amazing when a song, Let's Ride as well has been really, really nostalgic, but also only a few years old, so that song's like, now it's like 8 years old. Wow, it's crazy, right? It's wild, time to be flying. But we try to make it flow, and so there's certain songs that we have that we don't necessarily need to play every show, but we need to play a song like it. So like a song like Secret Weapon, we pretty much play that most shows because that's a staple from that album. And so we'll play a staple from each album, and then like from our last album, Not Today is a staple, I would say, from our album. So if we're doing a full set, we're probably going to play Not Today at some point. We're going to play Stay Up All Night at some point off of Find a Way Home, but we're not going to play some of the other songs from the album, deeper into the album. A song I really love, that we all really love to play, Ready to Rage. That's a song that we love to play, but when we don't play it, people don't miss it, so it serves a purpose. It's a certain type of song. It's got a certain speed. It makes you feel aggression. So there's a few different songs we can plug into that spot when we don't play that song. But then we can plug that song into the same spot for another one. So I think a Set of Fire, that's a type song that we wouldn't play alongside Ready to Rage. And those are kind of like, they're not hard, fast rules, but I think if you stick to that, then you're going to have a more even flow of a set list. Not to quote Pearl Jam or anything. All right. Let's go to the next one. Here we go.
Hey, Mike. It's Jerome from Los Angeles. I got two questions. So first, you and Yuri did a podcast about Death Cab. I'm wondering how you feel about Death Cab. They're awesome. They're one of my favorite bands, as well as you guys. Also, Dawson's Creek, how did you get on that show? I heard Move to Bremerton on there. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. You were on the Seth Rogen episode. That's kind of weird. Anyway, yeah, looking forward. I might see you at Warped Tour in Long Beach if I can. You guys are awesome. Bye.
Rad. Yeah, Long Beach is going to be great. We'll be at Warped Tour there. Looking forward to it. So check it out, Jerome. Thanks for calling. Yuri and I were talking, I don't know if we did a podcast about Death Cab, but I think we were talking about Ben Gibbard because he's from Bremerton. He's from here. He went to Olympic High School. I never got into Death Cab. Honestly, I don't think I've heard more than one song, but I've heard Follow Me Into the Dark or Follow You Into the Dark. Yeah, that I gotta give it to Ben. He wrote a great song. It is a great song, and I gotta also say that he's just a great whimsical songwriter in general. Not just whimsical. I mean, he's just a good songwriter for what he does. I think he wrote. It's either him or They Might Be Giants, because he's kind of has a similar voice sometimes as They Might Be Giants. They're quirkier. He's a little more emo, a little more emotional, but I think he wrote the theme for the show Shrinking, which is honestly one of my favorite shows right now. I've been watching it. I'm on season 2. I think there's 3 seasons. I'm not sure, but I've been watching it here and there, little by little. It's kind of a comfort show. I'll put it on when nothing else feels good. I'll just put that on. But and I know eventually it'll come to an end, but I go slow with it. But yeah, the theme song's really cool, and it's perfect for the show. And it's also I think it's Ben Gibbard. So, flowers to him, I think he's probably over the years become a decent human being. He certainly didn't seem like it when he was a kid, but I'm sure I didn't either. So I'm going to give Ben that pass that we all need. Some grace. We all need a little bit, don't we? Dawson's Creek, I couldn't tell you how we got on that. I think we were just hot at the time and moved to Bremerton and ended up on it. In fact, we still end up on things quite often, so I think we're still hot. That's my editorial on it. But thanks, Jerome. Let's keep it rolling. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Hello, Mike. I love you. My name is Angie. What up? I love your music. And you're so gorgeous. Okay. Mike Herrera, I love all your music. I'm a big fan. But I don't know how Michael could talk to you like that.
Thank you.
I'll always be a fan.
Thank you. That was a wild message that started off kind of crazy and ended up very sweet. So thank you, Angie. I appreciate it, and thanks for calling in, and thanks for the love. We got a couple more, just two more. Let's just do two more. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, Mike, it's Rich. I was listening to the podcast today, listening to the sticker part, and I was thinking to myself, how to get those stickers out, easily. And I was also thinking about, the guys that you kind of sponsor or work with, does Hop Zinger, hot sauces or skivvy or something like that. If you could ever do cross promotions with those guys, it might gain some new listeners, new followers, and also, get your current followers into those other things. I need some new underwear right now, actually. So if you did a giveaway or something like that, and you just sent those guys your stickers, and they put those stickers in the packages when they send out their gear, whatever their swag, whatever their merch is that's going out. Just to build, I know you've got a great MxPx, Goldfinger, Tumbledown, Mike Herrera community and everything, but maybe just bring a couple more arms in a little bit closer. I don't know.
I hear you.
Anyways, I'm just saying, I just want one of those stickers. So
you're getting one.
Do the old school, send $1 or something like that. That would work as well, I think. Okay. Anyways, thanks for the podcast, and have a good day.
Thanks for calling, Rich, and thanks for reminding me. I am so bad at putting info into the world, so I'll just say that the sticker link is up in the show notes right now. It's in the show notes from last week. So there's a link you can go to. It's a Google link, no sign up needed. So you put in your name, your email address, your mailing address, and first come, first serve. The first, 90 people, we'll probably just do 90 or so. So we have a few just in case left over. And we're going to send out a free sticker, one sticker each. So as many people as possible get them. And for everybody else, we will get stickers made. I'll put them in the store, MxPx.com. You can get them along with anything else you get there, vinyl and all that stuff. And then, eventually I would like to do a t-shirt, maybe a one logo, something, Mike Herrera podcast t-shirt. I wonder what logo people would be most into wearing. Do you just want me yelling like I always am? Or do you want it to be a microphone or something like that? Or, I don't know. Call in, write in, comment. If you're on the Facebook group, comment there on this post, comment on, wherever you want, really. You can find me. You know how to find me. Now, as far as the cross promotion, that's not a bad idea. I've been talking to the Hop Singer people. They do fan style logos of bands and TV shows, Stranger Things they've done, and other bands, not just MxPx. And so they're just a fan of punk rock and horror and just the fans thing. I don't know what that is, but I think we're probably going to do something with them if it makes sense. I think I would love to do something, but stay tuned for that because I actually have an actual idea of what to do, and if the price works for everybody, if it's not just it's not even worth all the work, which a lot of times it's not worth the work, and we just do it anyway because we want to make people happy. So we're gonna try to do something like that. Now with skivvies and things like that, yeah, maybe I'll just give them a bunch of things to give out if they want to, and then I can maybe get some sort of discount code I can give out to my followers. Skivvy is awesome for underwear, t-shirts, any kind of undershirt, underclothing. They have ladies and men's. They have I don't know what else they have. They have cool stuff. Black Flies, I wear. Awesome. I always wear their sunglasses. I'm not really sponsored by them, but I just think their glasses are awesome. Things like that. Yeah, that would work, Rich. You're not wrong. Now, am I going to do it? Maybe if it comes up naturally, organically, you've sprinkled the spice into my brain to where if it comes up organically, I might be like, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? But I'm not necessarily going to go out and make it happen to all these things. I'm just being honest. But I love the idea, and I wish I would. Isn't that most things in life? Isn't that most things? All right, let's do one more. Thank you guys so much for calling in. If you want to be part of the podcast, please call in, leave me a voicemail, 1-360-830-6660. If it helps, write down at least a few notes of what you want to say so that you can really get it out. You have 3-minute limit. Sometimes people get cut off, and usually it's fine, but sometimes it's a bummer. All right, let's go for one more, and we'll see where we're going. Here we go.
Hey, Mike, this is Aaron from Florida. I've been a big MxPx fan since '05 when I first started getting into punk rock. You guys are definitely one of the top ones. I'm responding back to a message, one of the podcasts that you had, where a fan was attacking you for the not being there for the meet and greet, or not doing what you need, or, not being active at the meet and greet. And so I have never been to one of your all's meets and greets, but I wanted to tell you an experience that I had with another band. Back in 2012, Joey Cape and Tony Sly from, Joey Cape from Lagwagon, Tony Sly from No Use for a Name, they were touring. They were doing a solo performance together. And they were coming to Gainesville. So I was excited to go see them. I brought my Lagwagon's Trash cover with me, CD cover, and then I also brought my new fans' More Betterness jewel case cover as well. And I got them to sign it. When Joey signed it, he was very happy, he was very optimistic and, excited. But when Tony signed it, he was very quiet. He looked very sleepy. And, he didn't say anything. But, I didn't think anything about it. I didn't blame him like that fan blamed you. That's just who he was. That's what I thought. And, they put on a hell of a performance that night. And then only to find out, like a few days later, that was Tony's final show. And so, to even think that I actually got to see him, and, I don't even really care about the way he treated, like the way he was signing my jewelry. We lost someone incredibly special. And the signs, I should have seen the signs there, that he was going through a lot.
How would you know?
But what I'm trying to get at is, I think this fan, I don't think you want to keep harping on this guy, but I think this guy just seems a little privileged, because who knows, you never know what we could lose.
Yep.
In this case, I got to be at Tony Sly's very last performance. And, if the only interaction that I remembered the most out of it was that, where he didn't say anything to me when he signed my More Betterness cover, and just was bitter about it, that's not a good memory. This guy's in the wrong. You are a touring.
You got cut off. I was literally just talking about that. Aaron, dude, thank you for the call. Yeah, I know both Joey and Tony. I knew Tony. he wasn't a gregarious guy, and you just never know. You know, you can't blame yourself. Obviously, I don't think you do, Aaron. But how would you know he was deeply depressed? How would you know he was days away from passing away? That's a wild story, and it's a life lesson for sure. Something that not all of us choose to learn. But check on your friends. Check on your friends. You can't blame yourself for not knowing. Sometimes you just don't. You're in your own world. But I think hearing this is a reminder that you just never know what somebody else is going through. Even when you think they're just being a jerk, maybe they just had the worst day ever, and they're thinking about that. Everything's going wrong in their personal life. Maybe, you know, there's a breakup that just happened. I'm not saying that happened with Tony. I'm just saying anybody. And to hear that you were at his last show, that is absolutely wild. Just because somebody's sleepy doesn't mean they want to kill themselves, but it might be. You know, you just never know. So I think it's not something you should assume somebody's having a bad time, but I think just being able to communicate a little bit might be the difference, right? When you text your friend, "Hey, I hope you're having a great day. I just thought of you." Like, that can't be a bad thing, right? That can't be a bad thing. So, man, I got tears in my eyes because I'm thinking about Tony, and I'm thinking about how good he was as a songwriter, as a singer, and how hard that must have still be on somebody like Joey Cape. You know, I know Joey, and he was best friends with Tony, and man, those guys were a little bit, you know, they are a little bit older than me, and I kind of look up to them in a lot of ways, you know. Definitely as songwriters, Tony Sly was great. He knew how to really cut through and do it in a cool way. So the style of music that No Use for a Name, it's New Fan, No Use for a Name. So New Fan Glory. Put two band names together. There you go. Anyway, the way they wrote songs and the way they put songs together, that was one of the first things I heard. Pennywise, Them, The Descendants, NoFX, Rancid. Those are the first couple songs. I mean, even before Rancid was a band, I guess. Just right before they were doing Op Ivy. That was a band that I was like, what is this? It's cool, but I just don't understand it. It is so frenetic. It's so fast. It's so crazy. I really loved it. But yeah, those were some of the first punk bands I ever heard. So, you know, we played some Warped Tour shows quite a bit in Europe with No Use for a Name, and got to just be around them, you know, day to day kind of thing. And Tony was always reserved, kind of like I am. You know, he was always thinking. He would laugh, he would smile, he would have jokes with the guys, he would enjoy playing soccer all the time with the soccer. Thanks for your story, Aaron. We appreciate it. Thank you. And Tony, thanks for the music. That's it. I didn't mean to end this on a downer, but sometimes maybe it's all right, you know. Life is it's all these things. It's happiness, it's sadness, it's struggle, it's anger, so much anger for so many people. And I try to keep that away from my children as much as I can when it comes to like thinking about politics. I talked to Bob. I'll leave you guys with this. This is kind of funny. This is kind of a little bit more upbeat, even though it's not. I was on the phone with Bob. Thanks to Bob for Bob McKnight, our producer. I was on the phone with him, and I was like talking about politics and how like all this and that, and oh my God, like let's get rid of every single politician federally. Let's just start over. No one that's ever been in government can be in government again, and let's just start the whole thing over and do better. Sometimes it's needed. And And there was a bunch of other things that I said, and he was just like, whoa, I don't like politics. And I'm like, yeah, neither do I. But sometimes, like, and I don't want to be the guy, and I definitely am not the guy that spouts politics in front of my children. I do not do that. I don't even spout politics in front of anybody, really, for the most part. Maybe Tom Chichilla now and again. Yeah, we talk about what happened and what this war and that war and this war and what it's doing to our economy and our business and things like that, and what do we got to do, well, expenses are going up, this, that, so like we try to be constructive about it, and that's all you can do, and with Bob, I fear that I try to be positive, and I try to be uplifting, and I try to give him good advice and positive advice, and it ends up being doom and gloom and complaining. And I apologize for that, Bob. Let's go. Let's win. Let's do better. And yeah, if we should, overthrow everything and start over, let's do that too. I'm down. Who else is down? Let me know. Call in. Maybe don't. I don't know. You do what you want to do. Call in. All right, you guys. Shout out to Christine Hall for helping out with YouTube stuff. She's smarter than me on that's for sure. So I appreciate that. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Mike Herrera Video. It's worth at least having that. You can see podcast clips. You can find all the episodes there very easily. So if there's something visual you're listening to on the audio podcast, you can always find it later on the YouTube channel. All right. Appreciate it. MxPx.com. Get your tickets. We appreciate you. We'll be at the Warp Tours. We'll be in Milan, Italy at Punkadeka Festival, September 5th. And eventually we're going to let you know where and when and who is happening for that Pacific Northwest show at the end of the summer. It's going to be a party. Woo! Peace.